crikeys, look what's come back. Stink bugs, or some people call them shield bugs because of their shape. I thought maybe I could do a neat video here about the mating habits of a stink bug, and it looks like they're fairly rogue in their activities. In fact, it's very interesting watching what's going on here. It's certainly a party, and from what I can see with stink bugs on the citrus trees is they're in a perpetual state of mating. But one thing I do know is if you've got stink bugs, it's going to destroy the ability for your citrus trees to have any flowers and then fruit. How long will I watch this party go on for? Part of me is getting sucked into this, but another part of me is thinking there's an alternative solution. Okay, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. These stink bugs are completely rogue. Obviously, they act in very strange ways, and I'm going to stop the party right here, right now. The beep has been removed from this video, and as always, this video is highly educational. Beep, beep, beep. Hasta la vista, little stink bugs. Dusted. Looks like there's a few still moving there. Not for much longer. Dusted. Sorry boys and girls, the party's finally over. Stink bugs, incredibly destructive to your citrus trees. We've actually got some quite established citrus trees in our backyard now. For some reason, this summer, they've come back in grand numbers, and if I just go in that area there, we'll see what's happening. Just zoomed in now, there's the stink bugs. Often I see them mating. They seem to mate all the time. If I touch them, they'll do their stinky thing and they'll become very smelly here. Be very careful because it's not nice what they spray out. And they are highly destructive. Once they start to eat the flowers of a citrus tree, there's a couple mating there, which is their constant. Your citrus will have no fruit. And there's spiders in the tree. In fact, there's some good bugs in these trees. So my preferred method is, of course, the flamethrower. And I've proven that in a video from a while back now. But I've been told there's another way to control these pests. This section of the citrus tree is an area where I tested the new method. It was about 2 weeks ago. We've had a stack of rain. It's just been a super wet summer. It's just really throwing the garden into a different phase. There's no stink bugs on this area. This place was completely covered in stink bugs. The flamethrower method, I like it a lot because, well, it takes out not only the stink bugs but also the eggs, and basically the tree suffers, but the tree will come back, as I've proven before, and will have fruit like you've never seen before. But this area here is where I sprayed the new method, and I can't see a stink bug around here. Now, I'm going to do the method here in this video, and it was actually from a discussion up at the local coffee shop in the morning about the issues of stink bugs we had at the moment. I'm looking for stink bugs on this part of the tree. I'm not seeing any. And maybe this new method is a really nice way of dealing with stink bugs without the fun of a flamethrower. I say it in a little chuckle like that because I do actually love using that flamethrower. Well, this new method's nice and safe, boring, so YouTube's going to like it, and it's pretty easy to apply, and it's basically dishwashing liquid, 1/3 to 2/3 water. Hope I'm doing that right there. I'm not good at maths or anything to do with equations and stuff, and it's a matter of just pumping this up and giving it a spray. Okay, I've come around to the backside of these citrus trees. There's clumps of stink bugs like that. Look at that. There's also St. Andrew's cross spider there, which is very nice to see. One problem with the flamethrower is if I take out the stink bugs, the spider's gone too. Let me spray these boys and girls right here. Let's see what happens. be coordinated here. I've got a camera in one hand and a sprayer in another. Now watch what happens here. Okay, let's see what comes next. Well, the St Andrew's cross spider is quite cranky in the background, but it's just doing that because it's not understanding what's just happened. And the stink bugs, well, let's just say they're doing their stinky thing. Definitely wear glasses on. Don't be near these things at all when they're spraying their strits of stink. And it looks like the party's starting to break up, but not in a fiery way, in a very bubbly, soapy way. I struggle to understand where stink bugs fit in the ecology of a garden and what's their natural enemy. I think I've asked this question before. No one seems to know it. And as I'm babbling here, we can see the stink bugs doing their best to try to get rid of that bubbly, soapy water. And it's one of these things that doesn't happen that fast, like a flamethrower is instantaneous and they're on the ground within seconds. This takes a little bit longer to take effect, but you can see that they are disturbed by the detergent. Maybe it's the salts in the detergent. Maybe you know more than me, but it was just from a discussion at the coffee shop this idea came about. Look at them stinking their stink. And from what I can work out from my little test area, it seems to be effective. I like doing this. It's very stress relieving considering the horrible years we've been going through without saying certain words starting with C, V and P. And if I move around the tree here, there's plenty more to be sprayed up. Okay, I know one thing that happened when I did my test. There was actually some snails in the tree and the snails dropped like rocks and they went all bubbly. And that's the sort of thing when salt hits snails and things. Okay, so it's very yes, to me it's very relaxing doing this, although I do get relaxed by a good flamethrower, as you know. But yeah, and my wife's a lot happier I'm not burning the absolute backside out of the backyard, which I always like to do. Okay, I've just gone wider now. I'm just seeing how this detergent, and it's just dishwashing liquid. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to do brands. Maybe a clue is it's the brand that I did the downsizing video of many years ago. Oh God, don't go there these days on YouTube. Don't do anything that's factual and points out how companies make big profits. I'm looking back to that first, see the first area there? The stink bugs are just about gone. St Andrew's cross spider is still in the web, which is nice to see. And maybe we'll take a look on the ground to see who's dropped down. Not instantaneous like the flamethrower, but I tell you what, it's still a lot of fun in a bubble-rific way. Okay, I'm looking at the ground underneath the citrus where I've just sprayed. I'll point them out to you because they do blend in with the earth a bit. There's a stink bug there, a bit of a green on that. It's quite pretty. It'd be prettier if it was on fire. There's one here trying to do a walk away. I'm just giving it a pointer in the right direction there. And yeah, there's one over there on the leaf there. Good night, sister, in a nice way. Yeah, so they do drop to the ground and they seem to want to wash their little wings of the detergent, and some of them do fly away in a droopy way, but from what I can see, it's quite effective. I've done a bit of a slow motion study of the detergent hitting the stink bugs, and you can see how they react to the detergent when it's on them. They don't like it. It looks like they lose control of their legs. I'm not sure whether they're spraying their stinky spray because it looks like the detergent as well, but it certainly seems to have a big effect on the stink bugs. And you know, you may argue it actually is quite fast and effective, although I still say I'm all for the flamethrower when it comes to speed. Okay, this is the area of the tree that I sprayed with the detergent. It's now about 5 minutes on since I sprayed. There are a couple of bugs still lingering. I can see one just there. I can give it a helping hand to the ground. I like it. And but what I do really like is I'm not seeing the stink bugs that I was seeing here before. There's a couple here, but I notice that they're not very active. They look like they're a bit frazzed up, and they'll be even more frizzed when they get whacked by the yellow hand. And if I come up to the area where I first sprayed, remembering that St Andrew's Cross was always there in the background, it's still there. Take a look at this. Do we see any stink bugs? I don't see any at all. We see a little bit of detergent left behind, but there's not a stink bug in sight. And best of all, our friends of the garden, that is our spiders in the trees, are still happy campers, aren't they? Give that one a bit of a tickle. Beautiful. As for what happens to the stink bugs, it's like they lock up when the detergent hits them. Okay, so there's not much motion going on there. They will sometimes freeze onto the tree, and often they just drop to the ground. This is the infamous tree that was completely flamethrowed from, I started from bottom to top because heat rises. There are a few stink bugs on the tree. I've got my detergent here. I'm not going to do it with fire this time. I'm going to go the other way. I can see some little buds starting. There's a little bit of fruit on this tree, if you know where to look. All sorts of moths and all taking flight. Okay, there's a piece of fruit down there. But surprisingly, there was a couple of stink bugs on here, but it's pretty clean. I don't think they're going to like that detergent one little bit. Stink bugs make a really distinctive sound when they fly. There's a real sort of buzzy sound to it, and I know there's a few on this tree still. There it is, see that one there? Dusted in a very different way. There's another one, Hasta la vista, bubble boy. Nothing worse than being clean when you're a stinky. I thought there was one right close to me. My eyes are stinging because I've got the stink in my face. Good night, little sister. Yeah, nice way, eh? Yeah. I came back to the citrus trees about an hour after I made the video, and this is what I found underneath. Now, a lot of those stink bugs there are the ones that have been taken out with the detergent. So yes, it does seem to be very, very effective at taking out stink bugs, although I can see a little bit of movement there, but you know what? I know how to fix that. Well, one thing I know is if you want to stop any unnecessary movement of the stink bugs after you try to deal with them, apply a little bit of heat. Good night, sisters. Dusted. I took a lot of slow motion video to make this video, and it's really the first time I've got to see the stink bugs doing their spritzy spray of their stink, and it's being pumped out sideways from their bodies. There's a lot of spray coming out of these little tiny bugs, and earlier in the video up near the start when I was spraying that group of stink bugs with the detergent, I'm pretty sure I could see some of them mustering up a couple of sprays of what was quite a lot of stink. If you're not familiar with the smell of what the stink bugs spray out, it's a very musty smell. It's like a science experiment gone wrong, and it really does get into your eyes, and you feel like you want to wash your eyes out if it gets onto your face. As for what's a natural predator of a stink bug, I go onto Google and I get very mixed results in what people are saying. I'm not an entomologist, and I'm not going to ever claim to be an expert about stink bugs. But the thing that I do notice is when I start to look up and try to understand these little critters, there's so much mixed information online, it's not funny. I even read some people saying that stink bugs are very beneficial to citrus trees. There is no way I could agree with that from what I've seen going on in our backyard over the years. Personally, I like the fire method because it takes out the stink bugs, plus it also takes out their eggs, which will be laid up on the leaves as well. Yes, the tree will suffer, but the tree will bounce back and it'll be way better than before. And I've seen that when I did that to the other tree in the backyard, which we had a bit of a peek at in this video. As for the dish soap liquid, and some people make their own mix and also add some vinegar in there as well, although I didn't have to do that. From reading online, and I had to do this to understand what goes on, the dishwashing liquid stops the stink bugs from breathing because stink bugs breathe via pores under their armor shell. Apparently this soapy water can also kill a whole stack of other little critters that, well, are nice and sort of not nice because they also breathe through their bodies. Thinking that this is more of a selective process, I think is wrong. I think I've actually taken out a whole bunch of other things that were living in the tree, and let's not talk about that St. Andrew's cross spider. Let's just pretend it's still okay. I think the nicest way to control the stink bugs and to pull the numbers back is to get something like a weed dragon. I've actually got one, but I want the next size up. I've got like a baby one and it's boring. And then I could put the fire onto the clumps of stink bugs because stink bugs tend to always clump together and be in groups. And that way I could be very selective where I'm putting heat on the stink bugs and I'm not taking out the beneficial things on the citrus trees as well. I dare say I could say the same about putting the soap on. Be very selective and careful where you're spraying the soap, although you're going to miss a lot of stink bugs that are hiding in behind leaves and other little nooks and crannies on the tree. I'll be quite honest here, I was very surprised at how fast the dishwashing soap or liquid has pulled down the stink bugs. When I did the little experiment a couple of weeks back, I did notice, wow, it seems to be very good. And I thought, oh, I'll give it a bit of time. I'll see if they repopulate that same area. And of course, they didn't come back. I do read you've got to keep reapplying the detergent to be effective. In a sense, it's not a long-term effect. But then again, stink bugs are not around all the time. They seem to come in cycles. It seems to be seasonal. We've got a very, very wet, strange summer. Maybe that's aiding the stink bug population. Look, I hadn't seen too many in the backyard for quite a few years now, but all of a sudden they're everywhere again. Normally this time of year I'm doing redback spider roundup videos in the backyard, but I can tell you this, I would struggle to find one in the backyard or the front yard anywhere. And maybe, or maybe not, that's the story for another video. There's a very different dynamic going on in the backyard, and it involves other critters that have really populated the backyard, in particular lizards. Well, crikeys, I hope we've ticked enough boxes on the educational content in this video, or else, as usual, YouTube will have my guts for garters. That's the way the place is wired these days. It's really sad. Just to prove a point, let's see who's living in this redback spider home. Nearly said another word then. Nothing up there, totally clean. And look down here, clean as a whistle. Quite remarkable. All the traps are like this. I've never seen it like this before in the middle of summer. I can't make a redback spider roundup video and there's no spiders to look at. This is the next day and this is the pile of stink bugs that I had controlled with both a little bit of fire and also detergent. So yeah, these have been crispy critters in a sense. And I thought to myself, I really don't see a stack of ants or things going on here like I thought I would see. And it wasn't until I had a bit of a closer look, especially at the stink bug over here, that tells a slightly different story. And looking closer at this stink bug here, it wasn't until I rolled it over and then I find out, look at that there. It has been taken out, chewed out by the ants, and there's a little bit of stink bug inside left behind. But yeah, interesting to see that. So yes, the ants always seem to do the cleanup here, but there's a massive feast to be had over here, and to this day I still don't understand what the predators of stink bugs are in the garden. In a sense, what's a natural deterrent that you could have around that would deal with these guys? They seem to have no enemies at all when they're taking out your citrus trees. Maybe the problem with these stink bugs is they're slightly overdone. Possibly the ants prefer them raw. No pun intended. Okay, another tack on to this video. This is now 2 days after I put the detergent on the citrus trees here, plus the areas that I used the flamethrower. So that's what it does. This is now 2 days on, doing it like that, the good old-fashioned way. I did see a stink bug here. In fact, it's down there. I'll just zoom in on that, okay? I might deal with you later. But what I came here to show you, and it's something I should have showed back when I was doing the detergent work. In fact, I see another stink bug in there. Why are they coming back? There's one in here. I'm getting distracted now. Look at that there. I'll deal with you very, very soon. I get easily distracted, but I want to show you this, and there's a couple of good examples going on here. Okay, this is the eggs that the stink bugs lay up onto the leaves. Often it's behind the leaves where it's not easy to see, but get your eyes wrapped around that right there. It's raining today. We've had a wet summer and it just continues on. I will try to see how well these are attached to the leaf, and they are stuck on really well. It's taking quite a bit of force to get that on. In fact, all little eggs are stuck together like all as one. Let's take a look at this. There we go. It's like a little matrix of stink bug eggs. What will I do with that now? The more I look around here, the more I'm going to see, and I see another stink bug here. There are some more eggs we're going to take a look at, which are a little bit more advanced. But before we do, look at this stink bug here. What condition is that one in? Okay, not very healthy at all. I'd say that one's carked it. And I'm distracted again, and I'm seeing some more stink bugs. I've got my little thing, so let's see if I can make it do its stink. How healthy is that stink bug, considering I've done the big spritz around here with detergent. These trees have been heavily affected by detergent, but that stink bug's looking pretty healthy if you ask me. And there's one a little bit further down as well. Okay, how healthy is this one here? It's taken a bit of a tumble. And here's another one here. I'm really getting some mixed results here. I did see them keel over from detergent, but why am I still seeing some that are alive? Very, very curious. And there's another one hiding in here. Look at this. Okay, how healthy is that one, do you think? But one thing I know is a flamethrower would have taken this guy out. This is in an area where I detergent the tree. Why is it still around? Okay, I found two very interesting things here. There's one, probably the most interesting is there, but we'll take a look at this first. This is a leaf that's been affected by the flamethrower. It's all been wilted, and there's the stink bug eggs there. Now the big question is, have I pulled down the ability for those eggs to mature into little stink bugs? That's what I really want to do, because I really want to always break up the life cycle of these nightmare pests. I think what I'll do with this is I'll take away from the tree and I'll put it down on the ground, and I'm pretty sure the ants will find that as a lovely meal. Okay, this next leaf is very interesting indeed. This is an area which hasn't been burnt. It's been affected by detergent. Let's take a closer look at what's going on here. Holding it as still as I can, the eggs have sort of hatched. There's some little tiny baby stink bugs there. Sort of cute and green looking. They go through a colour phase change as they grow up. But for the fact they're still here, and I think they're still moving, let's see if I can make some of these guys move. What do you think? They look like they're still alive to me. Don't like it. Well, I certainly know a very quick fix for that. Dusted. And while I'm here, and maybe this does prove the point of the flame process, look at this here, a great example of what the flamethrower has done to the stink bug egg sacs, and I don't think they're going to develop into adults in any way, shape or form. They're dusted. I think the stink bugs know the sound of the flamethrower because they start to hide. I will go around and tidy up the few that I can find, and a nice relaxing way to finish the video.